down with me. You down with me, down with me. I got a crowd wrapping round the whole town for me. They mama proud, got 1,000 in the balcony. Nah, 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 I don't hear no clown talking foul on me.
What's up, everybody? Today, me and JMX starting the podcast. What are the odds? Yeah, I mean that's about it. The Ravens Chiefs game just ended, and we're gonna talk about that. And yeah, first thing we're gonna talk about is just like what are your opinions about the game? What's the biggest thing that stood out to you about the game?
Well, first, I'm not gonna lie. The biggest takeaway from the game, obviously, was the Isaiah Likely touchdown at the end of it. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. The Ravens, it just seemed like everybody who plays the Chiefs, they just can't catch a break when it comes to like they just can't catch a break. You got Buffalo with the 13 seconds, and then you got now the Ravens with this. And every other team, they just always seem like they can't catch a break against them. It's tough. I mean, but at the end of the day, it was a lot more reasons why the Ravens lost that game, but they were so close to tying it, so close. They were right there. And Lamar was going to shut a lot of people up, but yeah, that was probably my biggest takeaway from the game. How about you?
Man, I can't lie. It was probably the Ravens offensive line. How bad it was, because wasn't it like three? They had like three people that like weren't starters last year. I think it was.
Yeah, so talking about the Ravens offensive line, they it's a lot of new starters. I think they have a new left guard, new right guard, and I don't know for sure about tackle, but I
I
know
think
they
it's
got a lot of.
tackle.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know Ronnie Stanley is
Uh,
back, but it might be right tackle,
it
something like
might
that
be.
for sure. I have to research that, but I know this Falele and then Voorhees. Voorhees actually I thought was pretty good in college. I wanted him in the draft. I can't remember this draft for like a few drafts ago, whatever it was, but I mean they're all giants up there. But yeah, it wasn't the best. The offensive line for sure was very questionable. It's not how we used to see it for Ravens offensive lines, but I mean they did the best. I mean, you're still playing the Chiefs, but I feel like the run game wasn't as usually the Ravens be dominating the run, but you could kind of tell that this is not the Derrick Henry didn't really pop off like how we all thought he was. But I mean, all in all, the offensive line it'll get better as the season goes on. It's just week one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's probably another thing I took away from the game is really just how little they fed Derrick Henry. I mean, what was the first drive? He had like what was it like 4, 5, 6
Yeah,
carries for a
yeah,
touchdown, and I
yeah.
thought they would just gonna feed him the rest of the game because I kind of thought that was gonna be the game. That was gonna be the game plan going into the whole game, especially with it raining before the game. I thought they were just gonna feed Derrick Henry the whole time and go from there. Because I mean, I remember last in the AFC Championship game last year, that was like a big thing. That was a huge
Yeah,
thing. They barely ran the
yeah,
ball.
running the ball chewing clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the whole thing with that was you can't be predictable. And with
Uh-huh.
Derrick Henry's in the game, he's not much of a receiving back. So when he's in the game, you're running the ball. But the
Uh-huh.
trick is with them is that who's going to get the ball. But the main objective they know, okay, they're going to run the ball here. So that's why we saw a lot of Justice Hill. But I could see why they kind of went away from Derrick Henry because it wasn't it wasn't really dominant. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that they couldn't stop it. Like they were Chris Jones and them, they were stopping it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see why they went away from it. But I mean, down in those goal line situations, I felt like you should have kind of gave them the ball more
Yeah.
there. But I mean, I kind of understood it though. Like they just don't have the weapons. But we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of going back to how bad the offensive line really was. I mean, I guess that makes more sense why they weren't really feeding him as much. But I just kind of thought like, the way they started the game out. Again, I think he had like 6 carries or like 5 carries, and he had a touchdown. And like I don't know, like I definitely think they should have gone a little bit more towards it. But also, like I definitely understand your point of well, Chris Jones and the whole defensive line were kind of they were just sniffing it out. I think it's crazy that Lamar had more carries than Derrick Henry did. He had 16 carries, 122 yards, and I mean, I felt like Lamar was running for his life. You know, like I know you saw that play where I think it was the second quarter, and he lowered his shoulder, and
Oh yeah,
dude, that was crazy. I started going
yeah,
crazy, but
yeah. I'm not gonna lie, Lamar. But I mean, it's the first game, so and when you
mm,
got a lot of new pieces on the offense, it's gonna be a little slow to figure out. But But yeah, I think that's just what it was. I think the line will get better. I mean, they're bro. It's nothing but size. Like they should be able to manhandle a lot of guys.
Hmm.
But I want to let's transition into this. The Ravens wide
I got you.
receivers, their weapons. Well, okay, I want to transition to the wide receivers and the slash play calling a little
Okay.
bit. Start off with the wide receivers.
Okay.
Zay Flowers, I think he's really good.
Hmm.
I don't think he's a one. I don't know, bro.
I don't
Like,
know.
I mean, I'm watching it, like, and I know it's week one. I'm not saying he's bad, but like some guys are just they can be really good, but they're wide receiver twos,
Hmm.
and I think that's Zay Flowers. I just him as the X receiver, it's just I don't know, man. Jalen Watson had him, he had him boxed up on a few of them plays there in the game. Like, had him boxed. I remember the one play where he went deep to Zay and he just stuck. He was on him, so he just stuck
Hmm.
his hand out and batted the ball down. Yeah, they gotta go out and get some weapons. I mean, I was kind of nervous with that in general. Like when I did my prediction and gave them the 1 seed, that was kind of the biggest thing. Like how they gonna do this weapons? Because Nelson
Yeah.
Aguilar, your wide receiver 2/3, like Bateman, nah, man.
Yeah, I've
But
never
I
been a
mean,
big fan of Bateman. I've never
yeah,
liked
nah,
Bateman.
like I feel like they just holding out on hope with him.
Hmm.
But I mean, as far as the rest of the weapons goes, I think Andrews and Likely are probably the best tight end duo right now in the league.
Hmm.
I do think Likely you can kind of see it. They're working him in the tight end one. I know
Yeah.
Andrews coming off that injury, but anytime you get a good young tight end who showed flashes like he did last year, they usually come into the next season. Unless you're like Kelsey or Kittle, they
Hmm.
come into the next season that guy. So, but I definitely think they're gonna have to make a trade mid-season or something to get another wide receiver because this wide receiver was not gonna cut it.
Yeah, I kind of going back to Mark Andrews a little bit. Like, I mean, obviously the best tight end duo in the league. Man, I really felt like they underutilized him a lot. I also thought it was crazy. Did he slip or did he just fall on that like third and, I think it was like 3rd and 2 or something, and they like hit him out in the flats, and he just like fell, or like
Wait, who you talking about?
Mark Andrews.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I think
Yeah,
he just fell.
yeah, and it,
Yeah,
it, it was like, bro, like, I mean, granted, if he just slipped him, that's one thing, but like if he just fell, I'm like, bro, like, you have to know where you are in the field.
yeah, nah. It was a lot of stuff that was very like kind of iffy for me. Like with him, like I saw it was like one play he caught a ball and
Hmm.
like he went immediately to the sideline and it was like first down. I'm like, and then he didn't come back in for the rest of the series. I'm like, bro, like I don't know if that's the team doing that or I'm like, are they really just like he's not gonna be in the game? I mean, I feel like even if he isn't tight end one, like he has to be on the field because you just don't have the talent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, kind of going back to the whole receiving room. I mean, Likely went off, and the next, like, take a guess on who the next leading receiver in just yards was.
Justice Hill.
Very close. 6 receptions, 52 yards. It was Bateman. Two receptions, 53
Bateman.
yards. Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
like Flowers,
in,
6 receptions, 37 yards.
yeah, that's
Um,
crazy. Like
Andrews had 2 receptions, 14 yards. Aguilar had 1 reception, 6 yards, and that's it.
yeah, what's gonna happen is they're gonna go into the like keep playing these games and teams are just gonna run straight ass man coverage on them.
Hmm.
And when they run that man coverage, it's over. Like I'm not gonna lie, no one's getting open. Like Zay is your only hope, and if they have their cornerback one on him, depending on who it is, man, it's barbecue chicken. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, like ain't nobody getting open. And I mean it's tough because it's real tough. It's real tough for them right now. But I want to get into the play calling. Todd Monken, come on, bro. Come on, man. Like you looking real suspect, bro.
Hmm.
You looking from this was not the game from the bounce back from that AFC Championship game. See, screen like bro, how many screens was called for the Ravens? How many wide receiver running back screens was called? Like, come on. Like I understand, even if you don't think you have the talent there, like you have to call more than a freaking wide receiver screen,
Hmm.
like these slip screens and all this. It's not working. All of them. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You can keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah. No, I was saying it looks real like mid out there. It just doesn't look good. Like I don't know what he can do honestly. Like with the combination of talent and the combination of like talent and play calling, like
Hmm.
Lamar's gonna have to bail him out. But I'm not saying they're gonna have a really bad offense. I just think it can be better.
No.
I feel like you can call some better schemes for him because there's no reason why every play Zay Flowers is catching the ball like you're throwing the ball either at the line of scrimmage or 2 to 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, and like your deep shots, like their deep shots was to Likely, and I'm like, you can't just throw deep shots like that to your tight end. I mean, like he's good, but I mean, come on now, like that can't be the play you got deep in in your playbooks that you pull out. Like I feel like the offense has to be a little bit more explosive, and it doesn't even have to be with Lamar with his legs. Like you can game plan some of these guys to get open.
Yeah, I heard something like I think it was like halfway through the second quarter or like maybe towards the end of the second quarter. Lamar's average like passing, like what is it? Average pass, like at how long he threw a pass for or whatever was like 2 yards.
Average passing yards per attempt.
Yeah, something like that. It was like 2 yards, and it was like, I mean, I get it. Like if they really don't trust the offensive line, and he just has to get the ball out of his hands really quick. Like I get that, and I kind of do feel like maybe that's why he ran as much as he did, because the offensive line just couldn't. They couldn't do anything, and it was like, all right, Lamar, make a quick decision, and if nothing happens, take off. And it was like, I mean, I do feel like we're kind of killing the Ravens a little bit. Like, I mean, dude, they were a toenail away from, and a 2-point conversion almost away from winning the game. It's like,
and I'm not kidding. I mean, like they still. I mean, that's just the greatness of Lamar, though. Like that's just he's able to make out of everything we're saying. That was like I feel like the line didn't play terrible, but they could have. They're gonna get better as the season goes along. But as far as the weapons goes, like this is nothing new for Lamar. Like he's used to having. He's had Justice Hill his whole career. Like I mean, he's used to having these guys around that are just not having up to par talent and doing stuff like this. That's why I feel like he's so disrespected because it's like, dude, come on. Look who he's out there throwing to. Like your tight end is your leading receiver. Isaiah Likely is your leading receiver. You this close, a toe away from beating the Chiefs. I mean, from tying the game to getting to overtime against the Chiefs. I mean, it's something special.
yeah. And kind of like you were saying with Zay Flowers a little bit, like your number one guy was getting locked up. So it's like, and like I get it, he's in his second year, but also like, I mean, like, dude, like if you like you were saying, if you're like a number one guy, dude, you got to be able to do better than that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. But one thing, it is a combination of many things because good OCs can get their guy, they can scheme their guys open. But it's just like also when you go on one-on-one with like not a lot of safety help, you got to win those matchups. But I think the Ravens they can figure it out once they get their identity. But
question
let's
for
get
you.
into the Chiefs.
Question for you real quick before we get into the Chiefs. You were saying that you kind of want to see the Ravens make a move at the trade deadline. Who would be like a realistic option that you would like legit like be like, okay, I could see that. Obviously, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit right here, but
yeah,
like
I think, man, you got to look at teams that's like it's tough. Like I know they've been really interested in like my guy Cortland Sutton. I know they've been really interested in him over the last few years, but it's kind of hard to think right off the dome. But it's usually guys around the trade deadline. Like I'm not saying they have to go out and get a major guy for this season, but just I feel like anything is some help. Like I feel like trade deadline is always some talk about some guys being available. Like I feel like you can go get a guy who's a wide receiver for like not saying he's pretty kind of washed, but like I was thinking about like Robert Woods, but I mean it's other players out there that like that are gonna be available at the deadline that I think you should go out and get, even if it's a backup running back that's at the deadline, because I think a guy like Kamara would be available too. Like I feel like his days in New Orleans are numbered. And they could have him on the deadline depending on how the season goes. I feel like that's a guy that can come in the offense and help be a real upgrade over Justice Hill, for real. But I mean, any weapon I think the Ravens should be going after because I just don't get the plan and going out there. Like they really thought Bateman and Aguilar was like about to tee up. So
I really think like an actual like, I mean, obviously it'd be like a dream scenario for the Ravens if they could somehow. If like the Raiders start out really, really bad, going out there and getting like a Jacoby Myers or even like a Devontae, I think I'm very, very high on Jacoby Myers. I think he's like a legit guy.
He's a dog.
Yeah, and it's like I really think because I know Devontae, at least I don't know if you watched the Netflix series, dude did not look happy in Vegas.
No, he's not. And Deshaun Jackson, I thought it was funny. Deshaun Jackson said that he wasn't happy, and Devontae was like, "Nah, man, I don't know where he got that from, man." And everybody know you're not happy there.
Yeah,
but nah, I think that would be a great spot.
It'd be
for
crazy.
Him. I don't know if they could work with the contract, but I have to do a deep dive in that. But if they can go get a Devontae, that changes everything. Like they could win. If they get Devontae, they beat the Chiefs. Like,
it'd be legit.
Like they beat the Chiefs because Yeah, they beat the Chiefs.
But anyway,
But
like you were gonna say, yeah, let's go into the Chiefs a little bit.
yeah, let's go into the Chiefs. So, the Chiefs, they look like man, they're back. I mean,
Dude,
they never left, but like,
yeah.
what a way to kick off the season. I want to start off with two guys, She Rice and Xavier Worthy. Give me your thoughts.
Man, I mean, I think in our league, I got Rasheed Rice in fantasy,
Yes, you did.
and dude, he was going off for me. But aside, I thought he was like really, really working the middle of the field like very, very well, especially in the first half. Like it would be like a slant across the middle, 19 yards, another across the middle, 20 yards, and it was just racking up, moving down the field, moving down the field, moving down the field, and then the first score for Worthy, well, not the first score of the game, but first score for the Chiefs. I mean, dude is so fast, and I was really wondering like if the speed from like the how everyone was like, oh, not everybody, but like he's the fastest person in the NFL, I guess, for the 40. It's like I was really wondering if that would actually translate into actual game into an NFL game. Dude, it's crazy.
Bro.
It's crazy.
Like, yeah, and so I'm gonna go into Rasheed real quick. I don't know why the Ravens were putting Malik Harrison in one-on-one coverage or Roquan Smith on him. I'm like, bro, why? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get it wrong. Andy Reid was like, man, we gonna call 5 out, we gonna make 9, we gonna put him in a slot. I feel like teams need to start thinking like that, but like, because I mean, I do that on Madden all the time. I always put my wide receiver one, depending on really who it is, in the slot.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, bro, try to guard it. Like, and the Chiefs just picked it apart pretty easily. Like Rasheed was just, and all that he was just running crossers. Like, I mean, you're gonna man me up. All you gotta do is put every receiver away from him, let him go to work in the middle of the field, and that's just what they did. But you know, and he's gonna have a really good season. Like he had 9 targets, 7 catches, 103 yards, average almost 15 yards a catch. Like in the way Mahomes, they have that connection now. Like last year, you could tell they were kind of a little bit off page. Oh nah, this year, no, I could tell. I think the first pass of the game went to him. It was Mahomes' first throw, and it was like it wasn't even a 1-2 drop back. It was a 1 drop back. Boom. First down. I'm like, oh, God damn. But, yeah, so to get an Xavier Worthy, he's the fastest. Look, for me to say he's faster than Tyreek in game speed, like, off of, like, starting off, like, his start-off speed is insane. Like, when he gets up field, you're not, like, unless you're directly in front of him, you're not tackling him. Like, you have no shot. Like, he's gone. Like, and the thing about Tyreek is really, really fast, but I feel like this dude is crazy.
Dude, he was flying.
Bro, flying. Like, that touchdown, I even knew once he got past the line of scrimmage and I saw how fast he's going, I saw he's scoring. No one's catching him. He's gone. Like, I don't know what the hell. And Keon Coleman can be really good. But Buffalo, why? Like, why would you make the deal with the enemy? Like, you make the deal with KC, and I knew they were going to tell us, like, bro, they finna take Worthy. And, like, Andy Reid, like, when they scored a touchdown, Andy Reid didn't even say, he was just like, yeah. Like, he didn't have to say anything. Like, no, but Xavier Worthy, he's going to be really good. I mean, and he's a guy, he might not even get the most yards, but, like, he's just so explosive. Once he gets to that second, his first level is faster than the normal guy in the NFL. Like the average guy in the NFL. I mean, he's next level, man.
I think for him doing this in his first game speaks volumes. I mean, he only touched the ball 3 times, and he had 2 touchdowns and 68 yards.
Yeah, he touched the ball 3. So he had 3 targets. He had for receiving, he had 2 catches, 47 yards and a touchdown, and then he had that 1 rush for 21 yards. The end around reverse. That was. So you tell him he touched the ball 3 times and took it to the house twice. I mean, even though he was wide open on one of those throws, but like,
dude, he averaged over 20 yards a carry. Anytime he touched the ball, he averaged over 20 yards.
Yeah, and mind you, dude, this is his first game. Like, just wait till they start lining him up out as the X receiver, and they can move Rasheed inside, and whoever else they have on the other side, it's not gonna matter. Because I mean. You got a guy like that, he can take the top. I mean, he's like Tyreek, but, bro, so much faster. And I love Tyreek, but he's way faster. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The NFL, we got our hands full with that. And it's finna be for so long too. Oh my god, like Jesus.
I do kind of feel like low key the Chiefs kind of was starting to like sell a little bit though towards the end.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was what 27 to what 17.
Yeah, I was just finna get into it, the the turnovers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes Mahomes does try to force it a little bit. Like I felt like, but it looked like it looked like he was trying to throw it in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, because I'm like, ain't no way he just threw that, tried to force a ball in. It looked like he was low key trying to throw it in the dirt, and it just got messed up. Roquan was right there for the
Mm-hmm.
pick, but it's just like, nah, they definitely got lucky today. And I will say the referees were on their side 100% with this. Like, if the officiating is getting really bad. Like Jawan Taylor, I know you see the stuff they put out on Twitter,
Oh, I see. I see.
bro. That dude there, bro. Like, I don't know how are they not seeing that? Like, you're literally on the sideline, you're looking at it. Like, how do you not see this man standing so far back? Like,
Dude, it was the first possession for the Ravens, and they had what 3 illegal formations.
yeah,
It's like, dude, it got to the point where it was like, dude, like, just
yeah.
tell
Like,
him,
what
hey,
am I
line up
watching,
here.
bro?
Like, yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, like, come on. And they were like, bro, y'all have to tell them too. Like, I can't just sit here and call it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, usually the refs go up to line and tell them, like, they don't usually call ticky tack stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where they all have to be symmetrical. Like, I'm like, bro, they never call any 79 was lined up in the backfield. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, that's kind of a, you know what I'm saying? That's it's
Mhm.
kind of some weird. Like, you never really see that. And they got away with that Spagnola timeout.
Yeah,
Okay, now look, that was crazy. Like I understand like what happened. Like the ref didn't see Andy Reid, but bro, that's a clear. It's in the rules. That's stated.
yeah.
The assistant coach cannot call a timeout. It defeats the whole purpose of really having a head coach. So it's like, come on, man. And they just let it slide. Like, I don't know about that.
Dude, I'm thinking about it right now, and like I'm not gonna make any like bold claim off of one game.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs receiving core might be easily, well, it's definitely easily, but it might be like a top 5 receiving core
Oh yeah.
in the NFL. Just the like, they can do everything. You got speed, you got power, you got everything. And it's like Kelsey didn't even have a great game either. He had 3 receptions, 34 yards, and it was like low-key he was kind of silent in my opinion, silent the whole game.
Yeah, I'm pissed because I have him in all of my fantasy leagues. But I will
Oh, I
say,
know.
he had 4 targets, and I was very, like, that's crazy. Like, when you really put it like he had 4 targets,
Mhm.
like, and then you look along like Noah Gray, who they just gave an extension to. He
Mhm.
had 3 targets. Like, they kind of spread the ball, but I mean, Rasheed Rice had 9. Like, that's not kind of Kelsey usually gets the bulk of that, but I mean that was very like I was kind of shocked to see that. But I guarantee you, it's week 1.
Yeah.
They're gonna work Kelsey back in. I'm not too concerned about
See,
that.
but the thing is when they needed Kelsey, they went to him. Like in that 23-yard reception, dude, they went. And I don't know how. Like, granted, obviously we're not in the NFL, so obviously we've never tried to tackle Mahomes, but like I thought they had him. Like, and he just snuck out. He was like, whoop, and just kept running. I'm like, and he just threw it to Kelsey, and I'm like, dude, like he can't be that elusive. But then I mean, like, it's like he's like sneaky athletic, low key.
I mean, think about it though. You're a 300-pound defensive lineman.
True.
Like, and he's like Mahomes ain't he's not skinny, but any quick move he can get around him, and he's very. I mean, he's for a quarterback, he's elusive enough. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's not like elusive like receivers, but I mean he's or Lamar, but he's up there. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. That's why he's the best quarterback in the league. I mean, it's just straight up ridiculous.
But
And in the Ravens defense, I didn't think they played a bad game. I feel like they definitely could have been better. I feel like they were kind of shooting themselves in the foot with those matchups a bit. I felt like you can't put Malik Harrison on Rasheed Rice. I don't care what it is. Like, it's and the Ravens were really good with man last year. That's why I was kind of shocked to see like they weren't running kind of more of that. I mean, because you got Marlon. I think Darby is still there. I could be wrong, but you got Wiggins and stuff. I feel like try man or some of man. You know what I'm saying? Not every play, but when they run 5 out like that, it's gonna be really tough to have your linebacker in the zone coverage on Rasheed Rice or Xavier Worthy or hell even Kelsey. Like, you're gonna have to put on those cases. You're gonna have to man up. So.
yeah, and kind of like you were saying with that, like I mean they would even do the same thing with Roquan. And low key, the first half, Roquan was kind of getting he was kind of getting burnt. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Obviously,
no,
I'm
he
a Steelers
was.
fan, but like, I saw people on Twitter talking about because like the whole offseason. And granted, we've obviously haven't seen Patrick Queen on the Steelers yet. But I saw
Yeah.
people the whole offseason talking about like, oh, like Roquan makes Patrick Queen. Roquan made like he made him. And I'm not saying he didn't, and I'm not saying he did. All I'm saying is I thought it was hilarious when I saw all these Steelers fan pages talking about like, man, Patrick Queen made Roquan, blah blah blah, and it was like, obviously I'm not saying he
Yeah,
does. I think
he
Roquan
did.
is still a top 2 linebacker,
Yeah, for sure.
but I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, I think what that whole thing is, I think they just complement each other really well. Patrick is kind
Uh,
of the faster linebacker. Like he's a guy that can, like he just has more speed. You see what I'm saying? So Roquan is the field general. Like he one of the I'll say top 2 smartest linebacker in the game for sure. For sure,
mhm.
him and Fred. And I mean, but they just complement each other really well. I think they both made each other better. But I mean, obviously Roquan is better. But I mean, Patrick, he may not be as good as he was in Baltimore, but I still think he's a good linebacker. I don't think he's a scrub. Like, I don't think he's
Mhm.
gonna go over there and be, you know, like with people saying overpay. But we'll see about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the Chiefs' offense looks pretty good. But I want to transition into this next topic. I want to ask you something. So after watching these, after watching the first game with these two teams, who would you say, looks like it's going to be like each team's best acquisition from the offseason? So start with the
Um,
Chiefs. Let's start with the Chiefs.
I mean, like just after this one game, it's got to be Xavier. Um, just like the way the whole offense, like the offense looked completely different. At least in my opinion, it's like, yeah, like you still got Mahomes and you still got Kelsey, and they were still doing their own thing. But it was like Worthy adds that ability to like you have to also like worry about him going deep, just from for the pure speed aspect. But also it was like they didn't hit him on any deep shots in general. It was like his long was 35, and obviously, I mean, if you want to consider that a deep shot, I'm more talking about like 60, 70 yard plus, kind of like a Deshaun Jackson, where like he was like
Mhm.
a fast speed guy who they would hit deep, and it was like he wasn't inside numbers like across the middle of the field like catching balls, taking it. It was like he was taking a post 70 and going. So like I mean, I feel like that was probably that with the Chiefs is Xavier Worthy. But again, that's such an easy answer. Um, I think maybe Juju Smith-Schuster, to be honest with you.
Mm.
No, I'm playing.
I was
I'm
about to
I'm
say,
playing. I'm
bro.
playing. I'm playing. Nah, I had to shut my man out. I was hoping he came down with that ball to target him that one time, and I got on Twitter and I was like, oh, I already know AB about to start talking crazy, and AB, I think he tweeted something like, Juju a clown or Juju something, and bro, I started.
Oh
uh,
my man, I ain't gonna lie. I actually kind of feel bad for Juju, man. It's just getting cut after
yeah,
signing the deal. Like you got set up, bro. Like you
but
got set up for a deal. And you right back with. Wait. He was with KC last year. Am I tripping?
no, he was with the Patriots last year. The year before when they won the first Super Bowl, well, not the
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
but
yeah.
the first of the last two. He was with the Chiefs
Yeah,
then.
Jesus. Yeah, he. I mean, right now, like he they wide receiver. What he's their wide receiver like 2. I mean, as far as like X, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's the second outside receiver. But I mean, yeah.
Something I do really like about Juju is his ability to actually like block, and he actually wants to block. I do think that has a place in the NFL, and especially on the Chiefs.
Mhm.
Um, but obviously, the blocking stats don't come up on the box score.
Yeah, yeah. On the stat
Um,
sheet.
yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say Juju really had any importance on the game whatsoever. That was more just like a joke. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it would probably be Xavier Worthy. He's probably, in my opinion, the biggest addition in the offseason for the Chiefs. Anyway, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll go with Xavier Worthy too. I think that was. I mean, it's hard because they did pick up, but they made like small acquisitions. He was kind of the biggest one. So I also have him as my biggest acquisition for the Chiefs. I think they're gonna have too much fun with him. Transitioning to the Ravens, their biggest one. I mean, I can go Derrick Henry. I think it's really tough though, like, cause I'm looking at him and it looks like Derrick Henry. I can't really say anybody else, man. Like, I'm trying to see somebody else, but I can't really say acquisition because they got a lot of guys back. I mean, I thought Eddie Jackson had a pretty solid game. But I'll go Derrick Henry. I think after seeing this, I think they got to work him in a bit. Like you could tell, even on the first carry, he got like 2 yards, and I say, yeah, they're gonna have to like. It's like like that wasn't an explosive acquisition, but it was like if you can utilize, it's the perfect system for them. They just the line just gotta get clicking and stuff. But I say Derrick Henry for the Ravens. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think it was a bad game. Like, not a bad game, but, like, it wasn't, like, a great game for him. I also think it was just a bad matchup aspect, where the Chiefs' defensive line is very, very good, especially with Chris Jones. I do really worry about the offensive line, but kind of like you were saying, I mean, the only other person besides Derrick Henry I can really think about is kind of maybe Nate Wiggins, maybe. But, like, I mean, I didn't really hear much about him today, but also I'm a kind of a big believer of, like, if I don't hear nothing about a corner, if the announcers aren't talking about the corner, if I don't see the corner, he must be doing solid. You know, like if he's not getting,
exactly.
like if I don't hear nothing about him, I mean, he must be doing good. Granted, obviously, I'd
Yeah,
have to go more and look at like him and his like his matchups and all that. But I mean, like I do want to give a little shout out to him. But I mean, I guess it would probably. I think the easy answer is Derrick Henry. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like and I said earlier Ronald Darby. I meant Brandon Stevens. I forgot Ronald Darby left, but still, I mean he's a solid corner. But yeah, yeah, I would have to say those two. But it's really tough, man, for the Ravens right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's such a heartbreaker, man.
Yeah, I can't lie. I thought they had it, kind of like you were saying, like, dude, to come like you were saying. I think before we started recording, you were talking about bro pulled a KD moment where his toe was on the line.
Yeah, he did, bro. Like, and that's everybody was saying on Twitter to Kevin Durant against the Bucks, man. Like, if you was a half shoe size smaller, you would have probably won the series. Like, I mean, Isaiah Likely, and you could just tell his facial expressions afterward was just hilarious. Like, it was like, damn, bro. Like, I feel for you.
I do got to give him a little shout out though. Like after what was it, one of the last plays of the game when he came down on his shoulder? I thought he was out for the game. Like I thought he was gonna be out for the remainder of the game, and I'm like, damn, like your best weapon is gonna be down for the rest of the game. And he came back. I mean, and he almost won it for him. And they would have gone for two. And I do kind of wonder what play call they would have gone with if they would have just handed off to Henry, or if they would have just left it in Lamar's hands and just be like, hey, dude, make a play.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like in that moment they couldn't run the ball, they didn't have timeouts, but I feel like Likely I don't know. I mean, it's nothing you can really draw better. Like they had the matchup, they got it. Just his foot was on the line, which is extremely tough. But what are your predictions for tomorrow? Eagles versus Packers is tomorrow. But for everybody who didn't know, but yeah, so Eagles versus Packers is tomorrow. Is it Brazil?
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah, I think it's at what stadium is that? Let me look real quick. Packers. I did hear something. Yeah, I did hear something about somebody hit me up about AJ Brown wasn't gonna play and he didn't want to play and nothing like that, and people were like believing it or whatever. It's like now, like we would have heard about that from like a while ago. They were playing in obviously Brazil. I am not gonna butcher that. They're playing in Brazil. That's all we need to know. And I'm not even gonna try saying that. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, nah. But yeah, so give me your prediction. Who you got winning that game?
I mean, I predicted the Chiefs to win this game. I don't know. What were your predictions for this game before we go into the next game?
Oh, I picked the Chiefs.
Okay.
So I picked the Chiefs. I wanted to go Baltimore, but I said I just don't feel like – I just had that gut feeling the Chiefs was going to find a way to win it no matter how good Baltimore played.
Okay. Yeah, for this game, I got the Packers winning. I do kind of worry about the linebacking core for the Eagles, especially with Devin White being out.
Oh, yeah, he is. Also, they got Dean and Vaughn.
Yeah, I do kind of worry about that. I am excited. Granted, I'm not. It's like when I pick the Packers, it's not like I'm picking the Packers to blow them out. You know, like I can see the Eagles winning. But yeah, I mean, like I'm very interested to see how Josh Jacobs works in that offense. Just like who really is going to step up for the Packers as that number one receiver. I thought it was going to be Christian Watson last season. I kind of felt like Dobbs kind of came into it a little bit towards the end of the season and kind of stepped up as that number one guy. But like I feel like the whole offense is based off of like there is no number one guy, you know.
Yeah.
But and then I like the pickup of Xavier McKinney as safety. I feel like last year they really needed safety, and that was probably what killed them the most. I do like that pickup. I mean, I also think just Jair is going to be solid. Kenny Clark is solid. Who's the linebacker they got?
Bro, it's on a. I know it, but
I'm gonna have to look it up.
I can't think about it. I don't know why I can't. Yeah, for me, I'm definitely. Wait, you got it?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, they got Gary, Rashad Gary. How could I forget that?
Oh yeah.
Quay
Yeah,
Walker's all right, man.
that's who it was. Quay Walker. Yeah, I think for me, I went Philly.
Okay.
I'm really high on the Eagles this year. I know everybody saw my video. I have them winning it all. A lot of people kind of hated that.
Yeah,
But
I saw that.
I think it really depends on their biggest key. The biggest question mark is the defense. I think under Kellen Moore, the offense is going to be more kind of like an air raid sprinkled in with runs. And I think it depends actually because Kellen Moore he does like to run the ball. Like that's why they got him out of Dallas, quote unquote, because he ran the ball too much. So we'll see how that goes. But I feel like it's gonna be a good combination of both. But I think I think he still is gonna want Jalen to throw the ball just a little bit more. But I think their offense is gonna be. I think they might have the best offense in the league this year. Like I think they're gonna be between Saquon, AJ, Devontae, and Jahan Dotson. I have mixed feelings about him, but I think him in that role can be very, very good. Wide receiver 3, no expectations. Gonna have linebackers and safeties on him. I think that he can, take advantage of those. I think Dallas Goedert is still really good. The line and one thing a lot of people don't know, they moved Mekhi Becton to guard. Now I don't know how necessarily I feel about that, but if that hits, that's really good. Because remember, he was tackle. He got drafted as a left tackle for the Jets, and they moved him to guard. So we're gonna see how that works out. But I think it's gonna work out really well for them. But the defense to me is kind of the biggest question mark. I know a lot about Vic Fangio. He was a coach in Denver, so I know what the defense is gonna be like. And he relies on the secondary a lot. And their defensive line is very young, so you're gonna see probably a lot more. I'll say man, because I don't think he's gonna rely on his front to get pressure that much. Actually, I think about it. It's gonna be a more zone. Cause yeah, he's gonna probably dial up a little bit some blitzes. Cause I mean they're all young, like Bryce Huff, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Like these are all really young guys, and the veteran guy in that room is Josh Sweat. But as far as the secondary goes, the secondary did get better. But I went Eagles. I think Darius Slay. They got Gardner Johnson back. Blankenship is still pretty good. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Like I want to see Keely Ringo. There's a lot of young guys on that defense. There's a lot of young guys on that team in general. But I think they match up really well against Green Bay. I think they played last year, but I can't remember who won that game.
I got you. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
I do got a question for you.
But yeah, I'm going, and I think it's gonna be a close game. I think the defense, like I said, it's kind of still a question mark. So I think Jordan Love can still put up some points, but I think the Eagles' offense is gonna be way too much for that Packers defense.
They played in 2022. That's when Jordan Love came in for Rodgers when he got hurt. I do got a question for you though. How do you feel like Cam Jurgens is going to do instead of Jason Kelce?
I think center. The thing with center is it's kind of like it depends on your team. Like with Philly, they got so many good offensive linemen. I'm pretty sure the transition is kind of easy for him. And you watch the games, they really sprinkled him in sometimes last year. Like you saw a little. I think he played just a sprinkle. Like, but I think you got Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson. Like I'm pretty sure they made the transition smooth for him. But I don't think it's going to be one of those things where he's just bad out the gate. Like I think it's still going to be like I think he'll be average, and that's perfectly fine. Like they have Saquon now, so like it's not like they need an all-pro center. You know what I'm saying? Like they have Saquon. Like Saquon's. Oh my God! Behind that line, Jesus Christ. So, but yeah, I think that's gonna be the case for a lot of teams this year. That's why I got Jalen winning MVP. People, and I know you remember this. Jalen is he should have got MVP the year they went to the Super Bowl. He got hurt towards the end of the season. And last year, people forget the Eagles were freaking 10-0 before the Brian Johnson debacle, before he just said he just was like, I'm gonna stop giving AJ Brown and Swift the ball. I'm gonna just stop giving these guys the ball and try some other shit. Like, but yeah, I I think he going to MVP. I got them winning the Super Bowl, but
Mhm.
I think they for sure win week one in a close one. But I think it just comes down to their offense is just too unstoppable.
See, I think for my predictions, I had them 3 behind the Packers, and I think this is going to be the split. Um, but also, I mean, obviously, it's not like it's like I can see the Eagles winning, but like I really think the Packers are going to come out, and I would think Jordan Love is going to have a really, really good season. I think I had Mahomes. Well, actually, I don't think I ever made my predictions. I think I kind of did in the hype video I made. Um, but I don't think I actually came out and made my predictions. I'm pretty sure I got like Mahomes winning. I wrote it down somewhere. Mahomes winning MVP, TJ winning Defensive Player of the Year, of course. Steelers win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But for real. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see how Jordan Love develops into his actual second season, because obviously this is his 5th season, but like
Yeah, but
his
this is actually
second.
like his second season.
Yeah.
It's actually his second season starting.
And it's like I
Yeah.
kind of wonder how like the development for him is gonna look. I do kind of like I am a little bit scared that he just had 8 good games and he's gonna come out and he's gonna be mediocre. But like I mean, just his decision making, besides that one play against the 49ers that like everyone's talking about of him throwing the pick for the game losing interception, which is like you can't defend that, like I can't defend it. I do think he was playing some arguably top 5, top 10 quarterback ball in the whole league towards the last 8
Yeah.
games of the season. It's like I'm really, really interested to see how that transitions over to this year.
Yeah, he had a turnaround because I remember beginning of the year we were like, bro, Jordan Love looks awful. He looked awful. Like the first half of that year, he was terrible. Jordan Love was not good, but that bounce back was crazy. Like, and it happened very quietly. Like it happened very quietly. This year it is kind of with Jordan Love. I didn't make any like crazy predictions with him because I still think it's a wait and see. Like I don't think anything is set in stone with him yet. I think it will work out, but I think you have to see it. Like I think people they get excited too quick sometimes. Like I mean Jordan Love, I think he'll be really good, but I still think we still need to see more, like a full season sample size, because we've seen a lot of quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence, have a very struggle that first part of the year, come out and like it's very similar to Trevor Lawrence's first year with Doug Peterson. They struggled, and then like he won, got a playoff win that kind of surprised everybody, and then the next year had these expectations, and we all know how that's kind of turned out for Jacksonville. So, I want people just kind of calm down a little bit. We still got to see, but I think Jordan Love is a way better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence, and I do expect big things out of him. But I mean, I like Green Bay. I really do like Green Bay. I think I had them. I haven't dropped my NFC yet, so I don't want to spoil anything. But I'm dropping that tomorrow. But y'all will see where I have Green Bay.
So I got a question for you. If you feel like it's the same thing for Jordan Love, do you have the same concerns for CJ Stroud?
I think not necessarily, because CJ kind of played well throughout the whole season. Like he got better as the season went along, but like he wasn't bad coming out the gate. He was very like in the middle. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like with Jordan Love, he was bad out the gate. Like he wasn't good. Like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't good coming out the gate. But I do think CJ, I think people are very, I mean, I went to a lot of the training camps, and he was very, I mean, he was good. Like, I think it was one training camp day where he was really bad. But I mean, I think he'll be good. I feel like they putting good weapons along. Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, they're probably the best wide receiver trio in the league, in my opinion. Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon. It's going to be hard for him not to replicate even a better year than he did last year. But I don't have those same struggles. I mean, I don't have the same concerns with him. Like, because like I said, he gave us a really good sample size. Like almost he gave us like a full season sample size of good play. Jordan Love gave us half of that. Like I said, it's very similar to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, it was just that question was just me trying to pick your mind a little bit, because I mean, I definitely think CJ is a better quarterback, but also like I have heard people talk about like, oh, we haven't seen enough from Love, and I completely agree. But also like and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying people that say this. If you're saying like, oh, you haven't seen enough for that, but you've seen enough for Stroud completely, and you're completely sold, which I basically am.
Yeah.
I do kind of wonder if that's a little bit hypocritical for some people to say of like, oh, I've seen enough for Stroud, but like, man, Love only had a couple good games, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I mean, with Stroud, it definitely was like I don't think he was perfect by any means last
no.
year. Like I feel like there was a lot of. I mean, if you really watch ball, you can kind of tell he really struggled against man coverage, and we know a lot of quarterbacks tend to hit those sophomore slumps. But like, it's not. I'm not necessarily just completely sold on Stroud himself. I'm
Mhm.
sold on what the Texans are kind of doing over there. Like I feel like the OC isn't going to put him in too much of harm's way. They got him. He has better weapons than Jordan Love, and he had better weapons than Trevor Lawrence did too. So that actually plays like a way bigger part in it. Like your weapons, like I don't think he's gonna go out there and I don't think he's gonna be MVP like everybody think he is. There are a lot of
Mhm.
people talking about he's gonna be MVP. I don't think he's gonna win MVP. I don't think he's gonna be MVP. But I do think he'll be like I don't think he'll just have a drop off. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of like I'm sold on him to the point to where I don't think he'll hit a wall. I think Jordan Love is still kind of he's still in the mix a little bit. Like he has his highs and then he has his lows, but we need to see that consistent full tape out there. A
I
full
feel you.
season of him being that elite quarterback, which I know he can be. But I mean, if it's one thing about Green Bay quarterbacks, they usually tend to pan out. So
No, I feel you. It's I don't know. I just kind of, my dad's also a Packers fan, so I'm a little bit biased towards them a little bit.
mm,
But like, I don't know. I'm really expecting him to take a jump. Jordan Love to take a jump.
I
Granted,
wouldn't be surprised.
I do also think Stroud is going to be good. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's also like that's an upset pick for me. Is that the
Mm,
Packers are going to beat the Eagles? I'm pretty sure the Eagles are favored in the game.
mm,
I also do kind of wonder how much. Granted, they're obviously both traveling to Brazil. If traveling to Brazil like has any sort of impact on this game whatsoever, like if it was played at some sort of neutral site, and it's just this is just me talking at this point. Like it's just like me being curious. If it was played in my backyard, even though I don't got a backyard, what would be the difference? You know, like would it be the same outcome, or would it be like I don't know. Like I do wonder like how much these overseas games matter because like you see the games in like London and Germany and all that, and I know you remember that Patriots Colts game last year. I think that game was in Germany. I could be wrong, but I think it was in Germany. It was either in London or Germany, and the game was awful. And the players came back and they were like, "Oh yeah, like it had a lot to do with us traveling, the fatigue on our bodies, and blah blah blah." And like, that's a completely real thing. So like I
yeah,
do kind of wonder how much that carries. And I do think with stuff like that, the run game carries more, and you have to rely on the run game a little bit more to kind of get yourself going earlier in the game. So I do kind of wonder if both teams are going to try to run the ball early. Um,
I
but yeah,
think
I
it's
don't
kind
know.
of different for week one because they can kind of it's not mid season.
Hmm.
That makes sense. So like you're not coming fresh off a game, and you're like you're coming fresh off a game and you got to
Hmm.
catch a flight and it's a time difference and everything like that and you got to adjust. Like I feel like week one is be kind of different, so I don't think we're going to see too much of that. But that is a very good point though. Like during the season, yeah, I got to start factoring that into one not my fantasy lineups too. I never thought about that. Like that's actually a good that's a good point. I've
uh,
never thought about like it affecting them that way. I mean, obviously like it's a thing, but like I never thought about it like that.
I remember last year, the granted the 49ers ended up killing them, but the 49ers went over to Jacksonville, and it was a 1 p.m. EST time, and I think what would that be? It would have been a 10 o'clock game for San Francisco, like their body clock time, and obviously
Mm,
they ended up going out and killing them. And before the game, I was wondering, I was like, I wonder how much of a difference that really makes of like going over from San Francisco to Jacksonville, and it's like you're
mm.
playing at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. your time, but obviously it didn't matter at all. They killed them, but I do kind of always look at stuff like that with these games like overseas. Granted, they both have to go overseas and they both have to deal with it. So, but anyway, one thing, and then we can end it.
Yeah.
Uh, Actually, I got two questions for you. One of them is a couple of simple questions, and one of them is more of a. I mean, it could be a simple question. What's your opinion about the kickoff rule? Like, especially seeing it play out in the first game of the season. How do you feel about it?
I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole rule change, one having teams start at the 30, I think it's a very disadvantage for the defense because you're like the 25 or the 20 compared to the 30. Like that's a huge difference. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're 20 yards away from the 50. Like, and you kind of saw the Chiefs. Like if you watching the game, I don't know if anybody else had this reaction, but I'm watching the game and they didn't really everything was touchback. So I think touchbacks at the 30.
I think
And
so. Yeah.
you're like, damn, the Chiefs are already finna score. Like it was like you're gonna see a lot of shorter play touchdown drives because they're getting the ball like damn near right at midfield. Like
Mm-hmm.
the 30 is absurd. Like I understand it's just a 5 yard difference, but starting at the 25 from the 30, you go in there with a different type of confidence. Like I think when you used to kick the ball, the kicker kicked the ball out of bounds on the kickoff, you get the ball to like the 42. Like you're 12 yards away from the 42. Like,
Okay.
that's like basically I think the league they also wanted to do that to make it more high scoring
Mm-hmm.
the games. But I hate the kickoff rule, man. Nobody's gonna return it. Like one, it's like they're only gonna return it if they have to. But if they know that ball's gonna bounce in that end zone, why would you even you're getting the ball at the 30?
Yeah.
And if you got a guy like Mahomes, like you're gonna see teams like the Chiefs, Philly, and Baltimore, like all these high scoring offenses, they're gonna start averaging north of 25 a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's what the league wants. They want more touchdowns equals more money, which I do understand that. But it's just like, come on, man. Like defense should be a part of the game. You got to start treating them a little bit more fairly, man. But I don't like the kickoff rule, man. What about you?
I mean, I like the idea of. Granted, I think the kickoff rule, like before, was perfectly fine if players and like teams would actually return the ball. But like obviously they weren't, so you obviously have to change something. Um, and I like the idea of it, of like also of having two people back there, so that you can kind of pick and choose like two like really really explosive players on your team. Um, but like you gotta make almost the punishment of kicking it into the back of the end zone more like you have to bring it out to like the 40 or something, because then no one's gonna kick it to the back of the end zone. If you're getting it almost a half field, no one's gonna kick it to the back of the end zone. And in this game, like we were talking about before, the recording, it's I think the only kick return in the whole game was after the Ravens scored the touchdown. And it's like everyone just booted it to the back of the end zone. And it's like I get it, like I understand it, but I don't know. Like it's one game, but also like this one game kind of really does set the tone of like what other teams see. I mean, if two of the best teams in the league are already doing this,
Yeah,
I'm expecting every team to do it. You know.
yeah, like I don't think. I mean, you may see some teams come Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
maybe can make a technique with it, and like if your kicker's really good, can do like I guess maybe do like a squib or have the kick kind of bounce.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, the way they have it, a guy could pick it up at the 45. See what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
you got the
fair.
ball there, so you have to kick it deep, and it's like it's just I don't like it, man. Like I get people weren't returning kicks, and you want to do the safety and everything like that, but like you're hurting the integrity of the game. You're hurting the defense, like
Mhm.
because it's like damn, like they get the ball at the 30. like I mean, you got to really think about that for a second. Like how am I 20 yards? So if they get 30 yards,
Mhm.
they're in field goal position. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like if they get a 30-yard pickup, they're in field goal position. Otherwise, like if like the 25, like I feel like guys, even if you chose to return it,
Mhm.
like you see what I'm saying, like you're willing to take it because like, or I'm at least get to the 20, like it's just 5 yard difference. Now it's like, oh, we getting them up at the 30, nah, bro, I ain't gonna return that because if I do return it, I'm not like the odds of you getting it to the 20 or the 25 and then the 30 is completely different. Like
Mhm.
no one's gonna chance to return on that, and nobody was really getting returns like that anyway nowadays. The Devin Hesters, Jacoby Jones, those guys are gone, man.
Yeah.
Dexter McCluster's like you don't have those guys there anymore. So yeah, you're gonna probably see that a lot. Teams are gonna get the ball at the 30. It's gonna be this is gonna probably be the year where they're gonna say the most points were scored, and it's gonna be from that kickoff rule. But yeah, to answer your question, I hate it, man.
All right, let me end you with I got like 4 or 5 ish questions. You can just give me a quick response and just give me a quick. Like we don't got to go too deep into it. Who do you think's gonna have a better season, Caleb or Jaden?
Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
I think Caleb. I think Caleb will. I picked him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
I think they can be a sneaky playoff team. They have a last place schedule. But I'm gonna go Caleb. I think more weapons, last place schedule. I think they can do a lot of work with that.
Okay. How about Marv, Odunze, and Neighbors? Who do you think's have the best season? Who do you think's have like the worst?
Better season. Okay, better season. Marvin Harrison, Odunze, or Malik Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not Malik.
No.
Not with
No.
Daniel Jones. I would go Marvin because I think Marvin is gonna be wide receiver 1 over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rome is a close 2, but he's gonna be wide receiver 3 in Chicago. So I'm gonna go Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison has the best year out of those.
I agree with you. I think Marv is. I also agree with you with Caleb. I also obviously agree with you with Marv. I do kind of wonder though if Neighbors, just kind of like also with Marv, they're both going to be wide receiver 1s and just pure based off of opportunity. And like, I wonder how many targets Neighbors is actually going to get in this offense. I don't know. Like, I'm wondering because who do they got over there? Like, honestly, who do they have over there besides?
Wandale. They have a nice little receiving core, in my opinion. I just think Daniel Jones is terrible. So like, the type of offense Brian Daboll wants to run, it's not going to work with him, and that's why if you watch everybody who watched Hard Knocks, you guys saw he wanted Jay Daniels. He said, they asked him, Coach, who do you think we should take here? He said, I really like this Jay Daniels guy, and the general manager voted on keeping Daniel Jones. So I don't know, man. I feel bad for Malik. He almost got killed in the preseason. You watch the games, he was putting them in really bad positions. Like, dude was having to jump really high in the air to catch some of them balls. And I'm like, bro, you put him in those races, he's going to get hurt because let the right safety come around. But, yeah, I would go Marv. I think Marv is going to have just more opportunities. I think Rome is going to have a really good season, but he's wide receiver 3. And I don't think he's going to get him enough targets as Marv. And Kyler Love is wide receiver 1s, man.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, and again, I love Lamar. This is no hate to Lamar. Who do you think is going to have more rushing yards, Derrick Henry or Lamar?
Oh, Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no. I'm so sorry. For some reason, I thought you said, like, a way different question. Yards?
Yeah, just like not touchdowns.
Yeah, no. I think it's Derrick Henry. I don't think Lamar is going to be a 1,000-yard rushing quarterback.
I don't know, man. I mean,
look, no, because I think the point of getting Derrick Henry was to not, like, have that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Lamar. Like, I think Derrick Henry is going to be a 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah.
Now, Lamar, I don't know about him getting 1,000 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't know about that. I feel like that's, like, overkill. Like, you give him those, he's for sure. I mean, because let me see. In his career rushing.
He had 821 last year. His MVP season, he had, bro.
Yeah, okay, so he's been an 1,000-yard rusher twice. But yeah, so he's been but the last 3 years he hasn't been. So like I don't maybe, but I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry. Okay. I think Derrick Henry should still get 1,000. I think because he's gonna have those games where he gets those monster numbers. Like when they play when they play someone not up to their competition, he's gonna get monster numbers. So
when they play, if they play any AFC South team, he's going crazy.
Because if they play the Texans and he's getting like $150 for sure.
And last question, and we all know the answer to this. Who's going to be better this season, the Steelers or the Broncos?
Oh, come on, man. Oh man, that's actually a really good question. With us, like I said it, I think our record is probably going to be around between 7 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go. We win 8 games.
Okay.
No, actually, no. I'm gonna go 9. I think we win 9.
Okay.
I need to see Bo in his first game. I need to see how he is coming out there. We're playing a really good team. But I think the Steelers are gonna have a bad year and still somehow find a way to win 7 or 8 games. So we just gonna have to see. But of course I'm gonna go with my Broncos, man. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say y'all gonna have a better year than us. Y'all got fucking Russ. Like come on, man.
Well, I got the Steelers winning 17 games, win the Super Bowl. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.